Speaker, what has transpired is after the passing of the act that establishes the entity that is responsible to resettle the people. The act has already been passed. What's required now is basically looking at the structure. The structure relates to how we can organize and settle the people. And first comes the authority. Then authority has been now being put together, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Under the law, we are to establish a board that will coordinate all the activities that entails resettling our people in the area that is appropriate, and looking at all the government support that goes with it, including, as you made reference to, any other assistance from donor agencies and all that. And therefore, the issue is really to appoint the board. And as you know, to you, Mr. Speaker, since a natural disaster, there has been lots of infights in the provincial government as well as immediate areas. So this has taken some time to address the issue. But we have received a nomination from wide-ranging groups, including provincial government, in terms of establishing who should be on the board, including the chairman of the board. So my department is now putting together names, Mr. Speaker, to take it to the cabinet to endorse the appointment of the board, and then the board will be then given the tasks that are required of them to resettle the people on the designated area. Thank you, Mr. Deputy.
The Honourable Member for North Fly.
as a teacher. So the school up at Mogul, the old school is all closed down. We have a high school there is also closed down, and everybody is in fear. So can we ask the minister, what is his department doing, Commissioner of Police through him? What's the update today? Can we get, because this incident happened on the 12th of May, this month, I think a week. Thank you.
Honorable Minister of Police.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mayor of the Northland, asking this very important question. As you all know, timely we making this kind of walk. There are some things we can, if we can disclose it, we can assure you, put the member outside. We have a team that is in operation at this time. You mean not only a team, 14, actually you mean a 14 plan, special unit currently on the ground. The operational strategy that Hussein talk, I cannot disclose, but out of the 11 hostages, 7 have already been released. We clear out 7, as I've been advised. You may not one platter will be losing life, but fortunately you will arrested witness. So this has been ongoing for a long while, as you highlighted. And as I said earlier, it's an operational matter, and not everything we can disclose, but rest assured that we have a team that has been on the ground. The terrain that we have on that side too is not easy, so our team being on the ground, facing those challenges within the geography, also place a lot of pressure on the team. But just want to assure the House that we have a team that is on the ground. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Governor from Morobe.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. My question will be directed to the Minister for Government Business, not the government business in Parliament, but government private business, like Air Niugini and all of those. And I would invite the Minister for Transport and Civil Aviation to take note. And of course, I would also humbly request the Prime Minister to take note on the question that I'm going to raise. Mr. Deputy Speaker, almost 2 years ago, we opened up Nazab International Airport under that name. In actual fact, Nazab Tomadasi International Airport. For all purposes, it is an international airport in this country. Not a provincial airport, but international airport. Mr. Speaker, today, Mr. Deputy Speaker, too many people coming from the highlands coming to Leh, Nazab Tomadasi Airport, boarding aircraft to come to Mosby and get the connection to other places. And the Civics and the Medang and even New Guinea Islands are doing now. Papua New Guinea passengers and foreign passengers. Many more are coming through this airport, Nazab Tomadasi International Airport. Same is true for all of the passengers from the places that I've mentioned, getting on board on the Air Niugini flights or any other flight, going to Najab, and Najab, for the Highlanders, they get PMB and go up there, and the Medang 2 PMB. Very few take them third-level airlines. Mr. Speaker, when we opened that airport, it was international airport to take international route. Now that airport is standing there, that's a half white elephant. Because it's not taking international air route. Now so many questions are now being raised by business community, particularly the mining, and other businesses. The people are involved, national, international are involved. They want to fly direct from Najaf, not coming to Mosby. Sometimes the New Guinea delays the flight and affects their flight to the international Provincial port. Mr. Speaker, we Moravians now feel that we are cheated. We're cheated.
Honorable Governor, I make your question.
So I'm asking, humbly asking, with due respect, my Speaker, the Minister, when is that international airport, international route taking off from that international airport going to commence? Mr. Minister, when? And second, can you, now as we know, Air New Guinea is principally involved in carrying passengers. And as you heard me at the speech, I said, Air New Guinea is a passenger delivery aircraft, not a cargo. We need more cargo to be transported from this country overseas because we got enough produce being produced in this country which we can make money not only through the sea transport but through the air transport, fastest way. So I ask Mr. Minister, if you can't put on the passenger flight, can you put on the, commence the cargo international route? And you're going to do it? When are you going to do it? Mr. Speaker, you are going to put in pressure on me, but we put in pressure on Minister now. Good luck with you now.
The Honorable Minister for State Enterprise.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I want to thank the Governor of Moray for this question. Any airport can be classed international or domestic, depending upon the commercial traffic. If the volume, if an analysis can be made by any airline company operating in this country, whether it be any limited or airlines PNG, if they are assessed and it becomes clear to them that the volume of passengers who want to travel from Leh to another destination overseas all stacks up, then of course any airline company will be able to commence flights to overseas destinations. So it is really a business case. You can class any airport as international domestic, but it depends upon the volume of passengers. They also talked about linking Hagen Airport to Jayapura. Again, it will depend on the volume of traffic and the number of passengers who want to visit that city and then visit Hagen, visit Papua New Guinea. So it all depends upon a commercial case, depends upon the volume of passengers. And if we want to, for example, export tuna from Leh directly to Cairns or even Tokyo, then again it will be dependent upon a business case. So you must have volumes. Otherwise, no airline will be flying an empty plane when you take into account the cost of the airline staff and the cost of fuel and all the other landing charges. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I want to assure the Governor that eventually, when the commercial, when the volume is there, we will of course be able to fly from Leh to any other destination elsewhere in Australia or overseas. Right now, I can also take the opportunity to inform this Parliament that Leh is now the second busiest airport in the country. The volumes are good for both Air New Guinea and Airlines
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I want to thank the member for this also it's a question or a point, comment, but we're not in the business of misleading Parliament. It's not again a matter of admission or denial. Declaration that is made, whether to declare any airport an international domestic, is made not by the airline companies. Airline companies are customers who use those facilities. So it's not up to any union or me as the Minister of Transport to declare a certain airport international domestic.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. My question, without notice, Deputy Speaker, goes to the good, hard-working Treasurer. Mr. Deputy Speaker, earlier this year, the Treasurer advised this Honourable House that he was struggling with non-tax revenue, and non-tax revenue hadn't hit the targets that he had initially projected. Further, after that, the good Prime Minister told and announced to the country that there would be a realignment of the budget after the final budget outcome was presented. Mr. Deputy Speaker, we are entering the last month of the second quarter, and all members of the House have to be aware that we only have 3 months before we start dealing with the 2026 development budget. Now my question is, the people of Chuave have just received 2 million DSIP out of 15 million that's budgeted in the 2025 budget. The people of Simbu have hardly received any functional grants, the Simbu Provincial Government, since last year, since May this year. So my question to the good Treasurer, you have failed to generate the projected revenue. Are you, as a responsible government, going to bring a supplementary budget and realign expenses, cut off the Connect PNG scam, and focus on districts, provinces, and key sectors like the health department? The emergency ward of the Goroka Hospital got shut down because they have no medicine and can't afford to keep it open. These are serious issues that really question the prudential financial management of this Treasurer and the fiscal implementation of the budget. The 2025 budget will fail, Mr. Deputy Speaker, if we don't bring a supplementary budget and realign our priorities for the nation. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the Shadow Treasurer for his question. Will we be providing a supplementary budget?
Governor's WhatsApp group that I think all provinces haven't received their funds. ECB hasn't received any money since May last year, so that goes to me. It's been 12 months now we haven't received any budgeted government funds. So, assuming that all provincial governments have not received any funds, this points to a deeper problem. I'd like to ask the Treasurer if the work that is going to go into the supplementary could begin in earnest. If so, when can they do it? Because this is not just a problem for the government, it's a problem for the country, Mr. Speaker. So, as such, they can't keep it under wraps while we all send text messages to one another and complain on our little forums about these financial problems. It needs to be brought to light, perhaps brief everyone as to the full gravity of the situation. The Treasurer did mention the FPO, and I remind him that by law, that report is supposed to come out in March. It's now May. So obviously there are some serious problems that are delaying the release of the final budget outcome. And I just want to ask the Treasurer whether the problems are with budgeting or whether the problems are with cash distribution out of finance. And therefore, again, Mr. Deputy Speaker, emphasizing the need for full transparency on the part of government as to the true financial situation of our country. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Treasurer.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I want to thank the Governor for his comments and first respond by saying that this government, the Department of Treasury and Finance, are not withholding information, Mr. Speaker. We're not deliberately hiding any information from this Parliament or the people of this country. As I mentioned earlier, if you allow me to table a detailed statement on the FBO from that report, we have a lot more detail rather than myself reading some ad hoc ones. Just to clarify, Mr. Speaker, whilst the government has been slower than normal to release funds to our provincial governments, it's really not a reason for us to, for example, close down our office, as the Governor mentioned, with a single provincial government. Whilst I wish I could have supported them a lot more as we have in previous years, confirms that there is 16.6 million kina still in his operating account. So I'm wondering why they're doing that.
The point of order is quite simple. Could the Treasurer, I mean, as the Treasurer knows and the Finance Minister knows, these funds are issued for different purposes. You have what we call functional grants, which are used for administration. You then have your SIP funds, which are either DSIP or PSIP, and sometimes some lucky provinces and lucky districts pick up what we call PIP funds. Now, these funds, if they are to be utilized for operational purposes, that would constitute a misappropriation of funds on the parts of those who are expending those funds. So if the Treasurer could clarify whether these funds he's talking about are specifically for function grants, if not, if they are for other purposes like SIP funds or if they are for PIP, whether himself or the Finance Minister could use their Section 4 powers to then allow the provincial governments and the districts to reapply those funds so that they are not misappropriating them. Thank you, Mr. If you could clarify that, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I mentioned, I will clarify that when I get given the opportunity. I'll include that in our FPO report, but certainly we'd be prepared to use our Section 4 transfer authorities to assist us further with that. But again, I would stress that, and give a high-level response, whilst we're waiting for more funds to be released, there appears to be sufficient funds, Mr. Speaker, still held out in the provinces. For example, our provincial government operating accounts, the high-level number is, as of 31st of April, we have 1.3 billion kina held in our accounts, and I'm happy to detail the breakups of those in our FBO statement. And whilst I'm at it, with our DDA operating accounts, we have 864 million. If you add all the other operating accounts, we have a total of 3.1 billion kina held in the province.
Point of order, Governor from Mulaka.
With due respect, Minister, the Governor for Sepik just asked you a very important question. He said he was not receiving, I suppose, PSIP or maybe DSIP or other funds that is budgeted for by the government, which passes through this parliament. And like anyone else in this country, anyone else, any province in this country, the Sepik provincial government should have received those. And 1 year, they have not received. And we want to know what happened. We want to know what happened. And you answered the question.
Honorable Governor, I think the Treasurer has made reply on that, so I'll allow the Treasurer to continue on and reply to the answers. Question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to clarify the Governor's question, I did confirm that I would, given that opportunity when I tabled the FBO statement, I would detail that data. But just giving me a few minutes to go through it in relation to East Sepik, provincial government, we issued warrants for 10.7 million kina, which represents 16% of your budget. I know the timeline's 39%, but we're trying to get monies out to you as we had discussed, so you should keep working. And of that amount, I'm waiting to answer his question. Was it a warrant issue or a check issue? The warrants have gone out, so it appears now I'll leave it up to the Department of Finance to answer his question. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Karamui Nomani.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. My question without notice is directed to the good Minister for Police and Internal Security. The questions pertain to the Paul Paraka saga. The biggest money laundering scam or craft in this country. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the principal offender, Paul Paraga, is serving time in Bomana, 20 years jail time. And he's one of his main accomplices, Mr. Jacob Yapa, who was the Deputy Secretary at the time, from 2007 to 2011, has undergone arrest and prosecution by the state. And the good...
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, to my understanding... Mr. Speaker, to my understanding, this matter is before the National Court, so it's sub judice for us to be discussing these things on the floor of Parliament. Thank you.
Honourable Deputy Opposition Leader, your point of order is in order. Honourable Member, I would not allow you to ask this question. This matter before the court, so...
the question relates to the conduct of lawyers, practicing lawyers who were involved in that scam. So I was just only preparing before I asked the question. So it's not related to Mr. Jacob Yapai's involvement in the case. I'm talking about lawyers, number of 8 lawyers who were identified by the trial judge in that 105-page judgment. The principal offender has been prosecuted. The accomplice is pending a trial in court. How about the other 8 lawyers who are still practicing law out there, who have been identified by the trial judge as providing perfect conduits to the trust accounts for...
Honorable member for Parliamentary, I will make a resume. I will make a statement. You are a lawyer by profession. You know you know what I'm trying to bring to you. And I will allow you to make your question, but you preface your question that don't bring matters that is before the court. If you would preface your question to allow for something that is not before the court, I will allow you to. So I'll allow you to make your question.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. The question relates to what will be the state or the police doing about the... I have a 105-page written judgment of His Honor Justice Berrigan, dated 26th May 2023. And in page 6 to 7 of the judgment, of the 105-page judgment, it makes the works of the police very easy by tabulating in a tabulated format the amount that 8 of the lawyers that have been identified.
Member, we have a point of order.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, the question is one, firstly, sub judice. Second of all, there are matters of concern, and in the same line that the good member is going to propose a question pertaining certain people purportedly participating or having something to do with those facts, set of facts, it would be irresponsible for the House to entertain this question, because it would also be intervening and obstructing the course of justice, if at all. If the police are going to do their work, let's allow the process. Until that issue is, any other of those issues are brought to light, they will be irresponsible and unsafe and unfair on those third parties.
Honorable member, I think your point of order is in order. Honorable member for Karamoy Numani, I will not allow you to ask this question. Maybe I'll ask the clerk of Parliament to maybe sit with you, look through the question, and I can allow you to ask this question. Honorable member, I have made the decision. Honorable member for about.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. My questions without notice is directed to the Minister for Provincial and Local Level Government Affairs. I hope he is the one directly responsible to the current local level governments that are taking place at the moment. If it is okay, then I can direct it, or I will direct it to the Minister for Intergovernment Relations, Minister for Administrative Services.
Honorable members,
I'll ask the question.
We have the member for about the question here, so I'm just asking the House to keep order.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. My question without notice is directed to the Minister for Provincial Affairs and Local Level Government Affairs in relation to the current LOG elections that are taking place. There is a bit of confusion right now going on, because I hope the Minister can clarify that there are 2 different sets of dates that are now floating around with regards to, for example, the polling date on the first notice was 12th of July. The second notice floating around is 21st of June. Counting on the first notice will begin on the 2nd of August, on the second notice, 5th of July, and on the first notice, the return of writs are designated to be on 22nd of August, and the latest one, return of writs, on the 24th of July. So you can imagine the level of confusion going on right now. If the minister can inform the country what are the right dates. Thank you.
The Honourable Minister for Provincial and Local Level Government Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And I thank Member for a very important question. Yes, I'm aware of this confusion that's going on. You have kind of confused me more by what you have presented. Because the earlier presentation is, so I need to get that confirmation probably, but second dates that have been presented refers to writs to be issued on the 24th of last month, and writs to be returned on the 25th of August. If I can present that as the outlay of what you're referring to. In between are all those different requirements that are requested for polling and all that. I've seen those, the first notice that you're referring to with my photograph. It was brought to my attention actually yesterday. And my reaction was that that's an old notice which has been superseded by the second notice, which I'm making reference to, which is writs to be issued on the 24th of last month, and writs to be returned on the 25th of August. So that's the notice that should be applicable to LLG election that is going on. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Supplementary, we have member for Yari Bupangia. What's your supplementary?
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker, and my supplementary is to the Minister for Provincial Affairs and Local Level Government regarding the council elections that are taking place as we speak. Mr. Speaker, the Minister rightfully is the person in charge, from what I understand, under the law, to conduct these elections. Unfortunately, this election is now going over for over 3 months, Mr. Speaker. When we all know that the council elections relate to individual votes in the villages and nearby hamlets that are surrounding that particular ward. Can the minister say why does he has to conduct these elections for over 3 months? Why do we have to allow people to run around with posters for 3 months in the same village that they live in and work and survive every day? Mr. Speaker, for the minister's information, it has now become like a national elections where candidates are running around with big posters and running around with policies, Mr. Speaker. So can the minister please let some common sense prevail in this manner, in these particular elections? Let's go back to where we used to conduct elections before, where it is done within few weeks, not 3 months. I think people are exhausted about politics and politicians in this country. Let us listen to our people. Thank you, Mr. Minister.
Honourable Minister, Provincial Affairs, Local Level Government.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and I thank Member for Yari Bupangia for this very important question. Yes, it's a fair question. If we look at what has transpired up until now, why this election has been held this time around. LLG election has never been conducted since 2012, if you can look at it, including in 2017 up until 2022 elections, because by law LG elections were supposed to be conducted 3 months immediately after national election returned. But this has not been the case. And therefore, this has continued to delay and confuse the whole processes. Hence, some of the laws that I have amended on the floor of Parliament is to ensure that the national elections are conducted and allowing for LLG elections to have fair time of planning in terms of resources, in terms of organizations and all that. And that has been on the floor of Parliament, and I think one of those amendments is going through to the Parliament. And hence, this amendment, what it's doing is that it allows, after national election, a time period of about 30 months is allowed. So that will come into play after 2027 election. But while this has been going on, other matters have come into play, as you know, Mr. Deputy Speaker. This in relation to national census, because this LOG election was supposed to have been conducted last year, but because of the importance of national census, and this has been delayed. And when the decisions were made, so I have to provide that background so that the matter can be properly understood. It kind of compressed the timing. And so when you look at it, when you look at all the other major events that are taking place, including 50th anniversary celebration, so it kind of goes into that period. And I think all of this next few months is really part of that celebration. So every other priority requests are being placed on the government in terms of resource allocations, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And hence allowing for 3 months, referring to a member for Pangaea, is basically allowing for our preparations to be done on the ground in terms of resource allocations that I made reference to. And yes, we are fully aware of the fact that 3 months is a long period of time, but it's also provide for preparation on the ground in terms of electoral commission to get its officers on the ground, including preparing election materials and other resource allocations. So that has been a reason why, unfortunately, 3 months have been allowed so that this election can be carried out at least properly. And in the end, the decision is that the idea is to ensure that fair and proper election is conducted, and that end result is to the satisfaction of all of us. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Honourable members, our question time is left, so I will not allow for any supplementary. Ministerial statements. Minister for Provincial and Local Level Government Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I seek leave of Parliament to make statement.
If granted, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I thank you for this opportunity to present to this honorable House a consolidated annual provincial government performance report for the years 2018 to 2022. Mr. Deputy Speaker, this is a third report since inception of organic law on provincial and local level government in 1995. It is rather concerning that there is a 27-year gap in reporting on provincial government performances. This gap is attributed to challenges including political interference in provincial government administrators' appointments, chronic vote of no confidence, funding constraints, and more recently, the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Deputy Speaker, despite challenges, 10 provinces have consistently complied with requirements of organic law on provincial and local level governments, with timely submission of their Section 119 report over a 10-year period from 2014 to 2023. Mr. Speaker, I wish to assure this Honourable House that this report will be presented annually going forward. Regular reporting will enable my department to identify risks and compliance issues, preventing legal penalties and damage to the reputation of provincial governments, whilst strengthening governance and enhancing service delivery. Mr. Speaker, Section 119 of Organic Law on Provincial and Local Level Government mandates provincial governments to submit performance report by June 30th each year. Compliance is critical to the regulatory framework for service delivery at provincial level, ensuring systematic documentation of adherence to organic law and delivery of minimum priority activities, in other words, MPA. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the 6 MPAs are: 1. Governance, 2. Education, 3. Health, 4. Works and Transport, 5. Law and Justice, 6. Primary Production. The national government allocates annual funding for provincial governments for delivery of essential services.
Honourable Minister, we have a point of order.
Mr. Speaker, with respect to the Honourable Minister, can we also have a copy of the statement so we can follow it?
Honourable Member, the statement should be circulated very shortly. I'll ask the Minister to continue on. The statement will be circulated very shortly by the Sergeant Council. Honourable Minister.
The national government allocates annual funding to provincial governments for delivery of these essential services. Compliance reporting on MPA improves accountability and builds trust between provincial governments and the people they serve, enhancing relationships and building confidence in service delivery machinery. Mr. Speaker, I now present 6 major findings of the report. 1. Provincial government's lack of compliance with Section 119. Mr. Speaker, a significant issue is the lack of compliance with Section 119 of the Organic Law. Over the past 5 years, only 7 provinces, or 37%, submitted reports before June 30th deadline, while 13 provinces which is 65% submitted late or not at all. This has fostered a culture of negligence and lack of transparency, eroding public trust. The public has long suspected mismanagement of funds and questioned transparency and accountability. 2, decline in basic health and education services. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the report highlights a decline in basic health and education service delivery. Rural communities face reduced access to basic health services, resulting in high rates of diseases and preventable deaths. These are disproportionately affecting vulnerable populations. In education, some rural schools are closed, yet teachers continue to receive salaries. This deprives children of education and impacts the future workforce, leading to low economic growth, increased poverty, and higher illiteracy rates. Addressing these challenges requires localized policy interventions at ward level to ensure equitable access. 3, decline in primary production. Mr. Deputy Speaker, primary production activities including agriculture, coffee, cocoa, copra, fishing, forestry, and mining have declined. Extension patrols in rural areas have drastically reduced or ceased, lowering production levels and directly affecting income of our rural communities. This forces families to migrate to rural centers or remain in subsistence farming. Sustainable practices, better market access, and supportive policies are needed to stimulate economic growth at the ward level. 4, decline in law and order and justice sector. Mr. Speaker, village court services in rural areas are declining due to lack of funding, a shortage of trained manpower, and inadequate infrastructure. This poses significant challenge to maintaining law and order. There is an urgent need to revitalize formal legal frameworks and integrate them with traditional systems to ensure equitable access to justice for rural population. 5, decline in transport systems. Mr. Deputy Speaker, rural transport infrastructure, including roads, airstrips, wharves, jetties, and bridges, are deteriorating. This forces people to travel long distance to access basic government services, impacting access to social services and economic opportunities. Investment in transport infrastructure is critical to ensuring connectivity and to access essential services. 6, decline in governance services. Mr. Deputy Speaker, governance structures at provincial and local levels are deteriorating. Provincial and local level government assemblies, provincial executive council meetings, and district development authorities, or DDAs, meetings have become infrequent, poorly attended, and ineffective, negatively impacting service delivery. My department is working to strengthen governance framework, enhancing participation, and ensuring accountability. Mr. Deputy Speaker, these significant issues stem from lack of compliance with Section 119 of the Organic Law. The majority of our provinces, or 65%, are not submitting their annual reports on time or not at all, hindering transparency and accountability. Mr. Speaker, to address these challenges, my department is, 1, permanently relocating 20 officers from the central office to be placed in the provinces. 2, digitization of Section 119 and other subnational reporting templates. 3, strengthening governance framework at provincial and local levels. 4, ensuring better planning and budgeting processes. 5, implementing localized policy intervention at ward levels to ensuring equitable access to health and education services. Punitive measures. Mr. Speaker, let me inform this Honourable House that my department, in collaboration with relevant authorities, will not hesitate to enforce punitive measures to improve accountability should this trend of deliberate ignorance and defiance of reporting persist. Calls for submission of Section 119 annual provincial performance reports and Section 114 annual provincial finance reports are being ignored. These mandatory annual reports, when read together, provides a good picture of service delivery in the provinces. Mr. Deputy Speaker, it is shocking that since 1995 reforms, only 2 Section 111 reports have ever reached this Parliament. I realize that the department could not consolidate annual reports for my predecessors over the years to present to the Parliament, as response from provinces have been very poor all these years. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Section 119 and Section 114 of Organic Law demands that these reports and set out punitive measures for non-compliance. The time has come for my department to start imposing and enforcing penalty clause. Mr. Speaker, it is also important to shed light on Supreme Court's invalidation of Section 51 to Section 53 of Organic Law relating to suspensions of provincial governments. The judgment is clear. It does not prevent the national government from administrative or financial audits of provincial governments, DDAs, and LLGs. The unconstitutionality of Section 51 to 53 does not prevent holding individual leaders and bureaucrats accountable after investigation. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, Section 119 report reveals significant shortcomings in the reporting practices of many provincial governments. The lack of robust, reliable data poses a serious challenge to effective governance and accountability. Mr. Deputy Speaker, it is clear that without demonstrable evidence of delivery, further transfer of additional powers and functions to provinces would be irrational. Therefore, I call for immediate and collaborative actions between governors and my department so we can address this very important issue together. Mr. Deputy Speaker, my department will reach out to all provinces, all provincial governments to develop and implement a comprehensive plan to improve reporting standards. We must work together to ensure that all decisions regarding the devolution of powers are based on sound, evidence-based assessment of provincial performances. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Maraporoso government remains firmly committed to strengthening provincial governance and ensuring that all levels of governments are held accountable to our people. We must ensure that reporting by provincial governments is accurate and timely. I stand ready with my department to institute compliance audits and inspection as required by organic law on provincial and local level government. With that, Mr. Speaker, I commend this report to this honorable House. Thank you.
The Honorable Governor Mulaka.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I wish the Parliament would take note of this paper presented by Minister, and I pursue debate on this paper. Go ahead. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'd like to commend the Honourable Minister for presenting this very important report to this Parliament. As to the Morobe provincial government, when I was the governor from 1997 to 2012, when the people decided to give me a leave by vacating me for 10 years, and before I was on holiday, we have presented the report in accordance with Section 119, the Honourable Minister is reporting. In actual fact, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the administrator by that organic law is the chief accountable officer by the organic law, not the governor, not the members or whoever, by it's the legal duty of the administrator. So if the administrator fail, I cannot speak for all the provincial government in this country because I'm not a governor for all of the provinces, but I will only speak for Morobe. If the administrator failed to provide in the time that I was absent, I am not sure whether the administrator, as required by the organic law, reported in accordance with Section 119 to the Parliament or to the appropriate authority required by the law to report to. I am not sure. But coming back to the Minister concern that he's raising, Minister, you are raising very important points that this country should know. Mr. Assistant Speaker, we budget in this Parliament, annual budget we budget, and the wisdom of the government at times, they budget in relation to the ongoing expenses of the province that it incurs. The government budgets for it. And the government also budgets for the other PIP program that has been approved, come through the right channel. Government will budget for it. And then, of course, the government will budget for PSIP for the provincial members and DSIP for the district leaders. Government will approve whatever the amount we all know has been provided to its district and to the province. And then, of course, Mr. Assistant Speaker, the international organization who are sympathetic with the matters of humanity in our provinces or district, like in the case of health or education or whatever, Mr. Assistant Speaker or Deputy Speaker, they also provide assistance in its district. And it is left to its province by virtue and by the authority of Section 119 to give a report of the money that came in for all of those aiding, implementation on all of those aiding, and been implemented, if implemented, for all of those aiding, and must be reported to the national government. Must be reported to the national government. So the national government knows that the money that has been budgeted through the appropriation, annual appropriation, to each province has been utilized for the purpose intended or not. National government is by law under right, legal right to know, because that's the national government of this country, not the United Nations or whoever, but the national government of this country. So when it's budgeting, Mr. Speaker, next, it will know that of the PSIP or DSIP or whatever functional grant or whatever that's been provided, national government will know whether that money has been used or not. Like presently now, the Honourable Governor for his CIPIC has raised a valid point. He says they've been budgeted for on all of those matters that I have mentioned, and he had not received it for 1 year, and that's what he's complaining. It's true or not is to be confirmed, but if it is true, that is a serious infringement of the organic law, and serious infringement of Section 225 of the Papua New Guinea Constitution, which requires the government to provide money to the provincial government and police and all of those departments, constitutional institutions, all of those. And therefore, the provinces are required, Mr. Deputy Speaker, to report. That reporting system must exist and must be complied by virtue of Section 119, Mr. Assistant Speaker. It's sad to know, it's a serious matter, that not many provincial government in this country have reported. Some members, like other people, that's going around to, hey, government not making war. Government not making war. That's the true government not making war, you know, walking war. Report by Tokto. Report by Tokto. So one man kirap na talk, hey, money no come inside. Na report is showing what's money been come inside. This money, kushay man from this ground. But money true, you know, been come inside, I mean true. We have to know. And from that money coming in and the utility of this money, if been executed in the way it should be executed, then we shall say whether the country is moving or not. Because I can't think of any other institution which provides money and which holds money in a substantial way to develop this nation. It is the provincial government. It is the provincial government, or it is the DDA, now we call it, the developing agent. Now the city authority, the Hagen City Authority and Rabaul City Authority and Lake City Authority and some other authorities, I'm not sure. Must be city authority. Whether they're doing the job, using this money to doing the job, we will know from the report, nothing but the report. Unfortunately, many provinces have not reported, Mr. Assistant Speaker. Have not reported, for whatever reasons known to themselves. But that's not a good practice. The good practice, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is we must have that report done.
That's right. We
must have that report done.
No excuse.
No excuse. No excuse. And Mr. Speaker, through you to the Minister, you have said that Section 53 and 52 and 53 gives you the authority to summon those provinces not giving report.
To summon them.
You have that authority. Seems like, I can't blame you, I'm not sure to what degree you have failed. But your predecessors have failed, they have failed this country. To summon those provinces who have failed to provide reports. We have to summon them. In the event, Mr. Deputy Speaker, we find, or you are satisfied, beyond doubt, that they have infringed the law, they have misappropriated the law, our money, and there exists the criminality, or there exists the impropriety, then you should take action, which never happened. For a long time, it's never happened. So you can blame the provinces, but I will place the blame on the department. not to you. Thank you because you raised them. Thank you. But those who have failed us. They have failed to report. They have failed to take action. Mr. Deputy Speaker, they have failed to take action against the provinces. They failed. They failed. And they should be taken to task. They should have faced the they should stand to face the force of the law. We're giving them plenty mari law, Mr. Deputy Speaker. It's a country belong mari. Thank you very much. Country belong talk na allegation. That's a country belong mari. People mari, yeah? So when we condone them, when we don't take any action, it's happening, Mr. Assistant Speaker. It's happening. Some fellows are getting away. People are go blame on the politician, but I blame it on the public service. They said, I remember you using throw money, remember you some contract income, maybe I make him. That's all. The administrative service, the organ of the provincial government, there's still plenty of money. All work still here. Some of the time I blow me tight, he stop your cutting 4 million income, and me sign nothing and me no look. Me sign nothing here. Some of the time Karim can Rabin and me like silly sorry, me like silly loin. All Karim form come inside. Now me sign straight here. Yeah, member for Kundiawa Kembo. Citizen of Younger Bull. More funny corruption than we stop long administration there. And this administration, he's full of political human being. Administrative is full of political human being. No, Governor. You got challenge me. Now we read this up. Maka member, Minister, Speaker, MU Sawer. Already stop ya. All directing one plus money, one plus half, by going on half. Also, Thomas, low long IT, ICT, or whatever IT, or this all to do. Also, Thomas, then people man, protest man. People say, dream man, talk long, every place. All helping people, driven service go inside, so Mr. Assistant Speaker, Deputy Speaker. All stop inside them, what if you going to talk, na big plus speech, na newspaper, na MTV, you going to walk in, what if you? People have some money, na you by no. It's happening. It's happening. We need to check them. You check the member, you check the administrator, you check the officers, particularly the audit section, you check the finance department section. All of those needs to be checked. Checked. Some of the time will say 14 nothing signature below me. Not to do the wing make him do the wing. Vian approach court Karim come here. Police court come, I go sim percent scientists come. Come by me proving signature below me. All Karim come, I'm writing signature looking at go governor, sorry, you know, blue you. That's a blue shot, who said he make him some trouble? Some of the time you go now, bribe him all, police about to bribe him, no, Namil, no, lose him. It's happening in this country. I'm not sure about you Western Islanders and the Eastern Islanders, Manus, the Slav, Enga, you know, Saudi, Platas. Me, I no more of him, you're going to talk to. Now, campaign won't finish, Mr. Deputy Speaker. You know, Gama. Campaign arousing me, I won't finish, now campaign arousing people, I won't finish. And the officers there collude with the candidates, potential candidates. There's still money. You will fight about top stuff now, Tamblo, no got noise walk on Goya, and you know how. Mr. Speaker, Minister, you brought a very salient report. You point him on health, you point him on law and order, you point him on transport, all this player. And true. I said that's all, member belong. Te was just by talking you. Minister of Housing, them Amsterdam stuff. Me no run long helicopter. Me run long boat. Takes me 5 hours from Ley, Bob Point to Siasi Island. Now me come back in no more 5 hours come back in. So what are killing me? Me mountain man, me killing me close to killing me. So Deputy Speaker. That's me money, me trouble man, me stop, me come safe. Now I've been crying for me. I've been crying for me, member. Long last day. Member, thank you, you come. Member come last minute. Now thank you, him come. This is a TYCC electorate now, CRC electorate, and triangle line, minister, take note. No one road come up on this lab. Police is too close down. All health services to him put down. Law and order to him up. Now man planning marijuana on this lab more. All islanders also, all Eastern Islands are carrying marijuana come and play me and I'm not. Now I'm planning islands and supply me on top. Oh, what man comes see. There's something will come up now because infrastructure is stop. You got road come up, old man by planning cacao. Ground floor planning cacao and stop. Mr. Deputy Speaker. Cardamom, vanilla, coconuts, coffee and double mountain. Climate change now. All she actually planning coffee now. Once upon a time, no God. Thank you on climate change and bringing coffee can. I'm grown now. And we triangle district. Now, on Lockheed Island, now Long Island to Old Suffer. And we'll triangle isolated from the mainland. Minister will come up in nuclear electorate, you take note. You must give him nuclear electorate on this land now. Next 2027, nuclear electorate by Kamala Disla. We need a member, we need a voice in this parliament. So Minister, you come up him long and I'm true. Morbe, church come inside, na government come inside first, na organize staff good, so true club long and me governor miss out. Because Mr. Sirip Club place. No one will governor along East Street side Sirip Club place. You ask him about the Morbe all by talking to him, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Sirip Club, yeah. All Canadian like challenging me, Mr. I put him off. Me to you can't Sirip boy. You governor long and you can't Sirip boy. You know can't sleep. Member Magamember talking to you, yeah. What a member by talking to you, yeah. Mr. Sirip lo want to what here. You know professional candidate not sleep. Governor not sleep. Mr. Speaker. So what you are saying, Minister, you are on the point. Prime Minister, with the greatest respect, we respect him leadership to you. You make sure that those people who infringe the law should be prosecuted. You make sure, government must make sure the area that we have not spent money, you must spend it. Money long improve them. Please watch him, Gorilla, Mr. Sorry, Gorilla. You member of Gorilla, you need to fight up. Mr. Ron Balus no helicopter and me fly low through Longola and I go come up Longraina and I go. We look in big valley in Stavia, all call him White Tafe Valley. Me ask him Gorilla and I talk him name Longan White Tafe. This let me big potential long agriculture. You look at Rosim Gorilla, Zamblon, no sediment, Zamblon, me will sorry long Gorilla stop. Me will sorry long Gorilla stop. Gorilla, Minister swear now. You mean to improve him? You mean to improve his services? No man come inside the town here. Now you become a Rosimol and pig the dog. You, they're human being. They voted you to this parliament, not the birds and the animal in the stone. Time election time, you better come post they come. This all land development no come, come punch him you. Me by celebrate the style of happened by Mr. Britain and stuff because you wrong person will fight him you. Mr. Speaker. You must have him talk, Prime Minister must have him talk long, Minister now. We take action. Make sure all the provinces come and we must produce a report. By next year, maybe today late. Next year by June 30, Minister? June 30, all the report must come. You must check them. And then go and check them on the ground. If somebody says that he'll set up an hydropower from his 2 million IDG, you physically go and check. And this power come on or not. Go check it. So then you know walk him and prosecute him all. You can't prosecute him, I'm a People who infringe the law must face the force of the law. They can't be left out. There's too many allegations raised. They don't get to the bottom of the allegations. They don't provide sufficient fact to warrant a conviction. This country, too many allegations. I'm also told now, tipping man of box look stop and go scot-free. We have to take action. We have to take real action. Plenty tourists Fred Lokamni last protocol. Because law and order and biggest problem na all na golong kona. Please, Minister of Police, address this point. This very important point. But we need the report. Thank you, Speaker.
The Honourable Governor for.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, for recognizing the people of Oro. I want to add to this debate and firstly thank and commend the good Minister for bringing this report to Parliament. But just share my thoughts in regards to the provincial government and how it's faring and how we could improve things together. I feel that first and foremost, a review of the 95 reforms is well overdue. I've said this a number of times. Those reforms were expected to do great things, improve things, but they haven't. And in many instances, they've created more problems. Whilst they've brought some benefits, and perhaps we should look at retaining these benefits, we should look at the destruction that they've conducted or committed and how we can repair these destructive reforms that were introduced in 1995. I remember before 95, the districts and stations in all our provinces were functioning. They had power, electricity, public servants were in these districts and stations. There was law and order. Districts and stations were functioning with funding coming directly from Waigani. There were extension programs, health, agricultural extension programs. There were many thriving economies. And the people lived and thrived in these districts and stations. Many of them did not actually go to their town centers, their capitals, because they didn't feel like they needed to. Everything they needed, they found them in their districts and stations. But after the reforms, you fast forward to today, you don't have to go far. You can just drive to, say, any district or station in Central Province, and it's not just Central Province, the whole country. But I'm using this as an example for the purposes of demonstrating what I'm about to say. And you'll find that these districts and stations are no longer functioning. There are public servants there, but they're only receiving their salary and wages. They're not able to do anything with that. They're not receiving their functional grants. They're not receiving their station grants, their district grants that are for them to maintain these districts and stations. There's no law and order. Elephant grass is growing there. And people, those mini economies have dried up, leading to massive urban drift and explosion. People are now drifting away from the districts and stations and flocking into the town centers to look for better services, better lives. And we can't blame them. This was brought about by the 95 reforms. A system that wasn't broken, but we fixed it. We fixed something that wasn't broken. Why? What brought these reforms about? And at that time, the premiers were in their provinces, and they were convinced. They were convinced by the lure of coming to Waigani, the possibility of an additional wage salary for being a governor in the parliament. And they all agreed to this. They didn't read the fine print. The fine print basically said that with the pretext of decentralization, there would be actually greater centralization. And provinces which were moving towards greater autonomy became ever more dependent than then. And they are ever more dependent now. All of us are lining up at Waigani chasing our funds all the time. And these districts and stations have become deteriorated, dilapidated shadows of what they used to be. So therefore, I feel that we have to go back to those 95 reforms and find out where we went wrong. What good came out of those reforms and what good didn't come out of those reforms and what destruction was committed. How do we fix this? So I would say, Minister, that these reforms are well overdue. We've all been saying this. I've heard this said by many governors, and even some open members have alluded to this. Let's do this. Let's review those reforms. As for the reporting and what's going on in the provinces, these are the responsibilities of national government agencies. Department of Personal Management, for instance, Department of Finance, Department of Provincial and Local Level Government. You should be checking on the public servants in the province. That should not be the responsibility of just the governor or the open member. That should be the responsibility of the public servants here at Waigani. If they don't receive a quarterly report, an officer should be keeping tabs on who is sending these reports. And when that report does not arrive at a certain date on a certain time of that date, that officer should be immediately contacting his provincial counterpart and saying, where is your report? You're overdue by a week. And warn them then and there, correct it then and there. And if funds have been sent to the province, to the districts, then you need to follow those funds and find out what has happened to those funds. That's not happening. And are those funds being remitted? We budget, let's say, for maybe 120 million a year. Does 120 million actually make it to our province? I can tell you it doesn't. We probably get about 40–50%. So what happens to that other remaining 60–50%? Where did it go? Those are questions that the public servants here should be asking. And they should be holding the provinces to account then and there, not waiting and then writing a report 2, 3, 4 years later. Then and there. And if the report's not coming in, find out why. Send audit teams. Send audit teams immediately. They turn up at the province. They call the responsible division in, sit him down, the administrator, the deputy administrator, the provincial finance manager, sit them down and say, right, we have problems here. 1, you have not submitted your report. Where is your report? 2, did you receive all these monies? What did you receive? Oh, you received this much. What did you do with it? What have you done with it? And through this process, you help these provinces improve in the administration. That's what has to happen. That's not happening. Department of Personal Management. Look at the provincial structures. Look at the positions that are supposed to be there. Do they have a principal legal officer? Do they have a legal affairs division? Do they have a HR division that's functioning? Who's holding the provincial administrator to account? Where are his KPIs? Who's measuring that? Who's bringing him in quarterly and sitting him down and saying, you are failing in this regards, you need work on that area, you're doing fine here, what are your concerns? That's not happening. Classic example, in our province we've passed our restructure, but we can't do anything about it because there's no funds. For 3 years we've been unable to roll out this restructure. So for provinces to function, they need the help of national government. But national government entities, public servants that are responsible, have to do their jobs. That's not happening. There's lack of connectivity between Waigani and the provinces. And if the provinces are to function, they should be given their full funds. Give them their full funds. And then when they don't expend those funds accordingly, then you can hold them to account. What happens with many provinces is that they only get a portion of their funds, so they prioritize. They prioritize, and they prioritize in such a way that unfortunately some programs are left out. And if you go to the remote districts and stations, especially the most remotest parts of a province, that's where you'll see real grim situations because they're not getting the funds they need to function, to be active, be the thriving hubs that they're supposed to be. providing the goods and services to our people as expected. So, Minister, just my thoughts. I really think that we have to take a serious view towards conducting a thorough review of the 95 reforms and find out where we went wrong, what we can do to improve from there on. 2, the reporting mechanisms. These government agencies, your department, Department of Personal Management, Department of Finance, they are supposed to be out there monitoring and reviewing how provinces are performing with the administration and with their use of the funds that they have received. And I think that's the way we will be able to progress collectively as a nation. And I'm all for imposing penalties on provinces that are not performing. But in order to do that, let's get all the funds that are due to these provinces first. I hear questions that were asked by the ECB governor. He's absolutely correct. All provinces have not yet received their functional grants. This is very serious. Midway through the year, the purpose of functional grants is so that we can function. Without functional grants, very difficult to function. I hear the Treasurer state that, yes, there are funds in some provinces. Those funds have been tied to development projects. Anyway, thank you very much, Deputy Speaker.
Minister for Public Service.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I'd like to commend the Minister for bringing this report across to Parliament. And I think it's for us to look at where we are. And the Minister's report has actually provided us where the provincial governments are. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. So basically what I'll probably discuss a bit about the reports, because I've been presenting the Section 109 reports for 9 years when I was the provincial administrator. And all of them I've submitted. You have the Section 109 report, which is about performance, not necessarily about money as well. The Section 114 is the one that provides the financial report. Section 119 is actually the performance report of the provinces. And so we must differentiate between financial report and performance report. It's normally called the Annual Management Report, AMR. And in those AMR, we have the 6 sectors that you report on: administration, education, health, works and transport, and the other one is the primary industry. Primary industry is six priority areas. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, what has happened now is for us to realize where we are. And I need to also make it very clear that when I was provincial administrator, I don't report and get the Secretary for Department of Management to come and assess my performance, or even the provincial, the Department of Provincial Affairs. All is done by the Provincial Executive Council. Provincial governments are a government of their own. They're a government that is headed by the Provincial Executive Council, in which the chairman is the governor. And so what has happened has happened. What we need to do now is to go back and look at where we are, and the minister has presented a report to us, and find out a way where we can do it. I'll just share with you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, about a project that I created when I was the Vice Minister for Finance in 2019. That project is called Bilum Project. And it's done under the Department of Implementation Rural Development. As per the information I got last week, Nuku district is the only district in the country that has acquitted all the SGs, the district support grant, and all the grants online. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, it's about time we look at automated system of reporting, because we already have the templates. The templates are already in order. All we need to do is to make sure that get the provincial administrators, departmental heads to work together and change the paperwork into online. It's not our job as politicians to go and submit a report. You know, you are talking about 6 or 7 full documents of one sector to submit in your acquittal. When you do a conduct acquittal, the reason why I requested the Australian government to support and do away with paperwork in the ARD was simply because many of the officers in the ARD were asking for cuts. Basically, trying to make sure that if the Ombudsman Commission is aftering a leader, an officer in the ARD would say, don't worry about that, I will cover you up. So that's what section I requested when I was the Vice Minister, that can we just do away with all this paperwork so no one is involved in this, everything is all inputted from the district. It is not inputted in the district, it is inputted in the province, not in Waigani. And therefore you will have, Mr. Deputy Speaker, you wouldn't have a report that they actually wrote that a district is submitting or a province is submitting, showing a picture of another road somewhere else, or a building of somewhere else, or classroom somewhere else, because nowadays you can do anything. So if it's online, the acquittal is done to the constituents of the electorate. We should be able to report back to our people who voted us into Parliament. We should be able to tell them that this is the money budgeted for under the DDA or provincial budget, and this is the result. This is the road, this is the bridge, this is the classroom. Those things must show for it. It's no point putting a document, 6 big documents into the IRD with some pictures from somewhere else. Just to cover it up. So I would like to encourage Mr. Deputy Speaker that we have a program already in place in the IRD, and Minister responsible is already running with it. It's not just Nuku, it is piloted in some districts and central province and some provinces. The problem is the responsiveness of the provincial administrators and the district administrators, finance managers, provincial finance managers, and district finance managers. Because with the IFMS system, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the IFMS system will automatically generate financial reports for you within no time. It's better than the PIGA system. The PIGA system cannot generate reports. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, all the system long work and start finish online. You mean upload talk plus so one can by me upload clearing. You mean talk sin talk motu na talk English and finish. We just have to make things happen. We already have done technology with us. We must now go online. Forget about paperwork. We should now send everything click from your district, from your province, straight to the main framework in the respective department to report on. The reason why you have a section 119 report is because that report is submitted to the NMA. Under the Organic Law in 1995, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the National Monitoring Authority is created by law. And that National Monitoring Authority is replaced by Plasma. And therefore, that report is submitted to the National Monitoring Authority, which sits, and the department that carries that NMA or Plasma is the Department of Provincial Affairs, Provincial Local Government Affairs. And so we report directly straight to the department. The department keeps a check of who is performing and who is not performing. So I think Governor Jufa's point is in order, and those that they contributed, I think what we do is to make sure that we don't use this kind of report to attack each other or blame someone else. Let's use the reports that are presented by ministers to work together to improve our system so that we can do better as a country, as a province. And I'd like to, Deputy Speaker, before I go on, I'd like to also share my own experience. When I was provincial administrator, through the Section 119 reporting submission, I was always on time. And because of that, West Sepik was rated, in terms of the expenditure report, rated first. We jumped from 19th position to first. in 2009, 2010, and 2011. When I left the province, I had a system in place. Now, why am I saying this? If we can use these reports to assess the performance of our provincial administrators, it should be making it easy for us. You know, the names that go to the Provincial Assembly, Provincial Executive Council, goes to the PEC, and the PEC should already know whether that PA is performing or not. Performance is Section 119. That's the first thing. The annual management report submission, and the annual management report is based on the annual action or activity plan. You cannot talk about report when you have not planned for it. You must have a plan first before you report. And so that the starting point is the annual plan, which comes out from the 5-year development plan. Then you have two reports, one on performance, which is Section 119, and the money report, which is Section 114. When the Section 114 report, in terms of finance report submitted, then the Auditor General's report comes in to collect all the Section 119 reports, 114 reports, and convert them into the audit report. So if the provincial finance managers and the provincial accounting officer, who is the provincial finance manager, and the accountable officer is the provincial administrator, there are two different things: accountability and accounting. The accountability aspect falls on the provincial administrator, who is required to submit the 119 report. And the accounting part the responsibility falls on the provincial finance manager. And the provincial finance manager is held accountable by the accounting process by managing the finance that is within the provincial accounts. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, we have systems now. I think as a country going into 50 years now, we should now talk about automated systems. Forget about paperwork anymore. Let's send things directly. We already have the templates. Convert them into usable forms that we can input it from the district and input it from the province, and it comes to the mainframe that we can generate reports within seconds and minutes. So the minister cannot wait for 5 years to come and give a report. It's instant report, just now. I'll just give you an example, Mr. Deputy Speaker. For Nuku, I have all the acquitals done up to last year. And that copy of the acquittal is given automatically online to Ombudsman Commission. So then I have to write a report and go and check everything in Nuku because it's already online. The report is done in Nuku, not done somewhere else. So, Deputy Speaker, I'm all in Sunday where you make that, but I think what we need to do is we already have full experience in the House and in the in all the public service in our system of government. What we need to do is share with each other, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and we come together and help each other, so that we can we can talk about performance and be proud of our performance. Just like, for example, when I was provincial administrator, I thought that we will never build a road to telephone. I thought we would not have ever built a road to telephone, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Look at what has happened now with the DDA. Many of you are complaining about DDA. I must tell you, because I am a full beneficiary, and I saw the change, because when I was provincial administrator, the performance report for West Pacific, we brought it from last to first, Mr. Deputy Speaker. But then, my people of Nuku were still struggling carrying cocoa. So what is the meaning of coloring a good report in the province when my own district, they can't even carry cocoa? No, the ambulance cannot go, there's no road. So here is a Nuku son sitting at the provincial administrator, and yet my own village, I have to walk for 3-4 hours. Therefore, I have to resign. I went back, contested Nuku open seat. Within just 2 years, the road was linked to my village and to the others. That cannot be done in the province. District development authorities have created a lot of good things in this province, in this country. We must admit it. Provincial governments have totally neglected the districts. National government has also. But now with the grants from the national government going straight directly to districts, districts has transformed. Telefomin now has a bank. From middle of nowhere, my most difficult district in West Pacific was Telefomin. I used to fly in on a chop, on a fixed MAF. But now, you can drive from Tabubil to Telefomin. What made it happen? DDA. Connect PNG. You must talk about being smart these days. If you are not looking at the smart strategies, you're going to be left behind. So technology is here. My good honorable members, colleagues, members of parliament, let's all talk together whether you have done well or not done well. Let's say it, Deputy Speaker, I'm just sharing some of the experience that I've gone through, being in the province for 9 years, now going to the district. My people are not coming to Maprik anymore. We have shops there in Nuku now, owned by locals themselves. They were nothing. They were called sorting mobs. What has done it? Because the STMM report, the Service Delivery Mechanism report that was brought in and headed by the Provincial Affairs Department, went to the remotest districts to find out what was the problem. Why the 1995 report was not implemented properly. Mr. Deputy Speaker, before I sit down, the reason why we came with a reform in 1995 was because the government was too far away from the people. And so all the hope and expectation was that if we had the head of the province to be in national parliament, that would have changed things around. But 1995 to 2000, if there was no DDA, many remote districts in this country will never see any light. I can assure you that. Because of the DSIP, DSIP is clearly visible in all the remote districts in this country. Very, very clear, you can see it. But PSIP is not visible. Let me speak from experience. You have not served in the remote parts of this country. You must know, Deputy Speaker, by you looking straight plus killer DSIP money, because time have you come up from district, and by you not finding governor, only by finding member from open member. Now money for the DSIP, and by come up in straight kai by looking, Brody Selis no telephone in all the province no, and because long national government, now through long DDA.
Honorable Minister,
with respect to the good minister,
we have a point of order here.
Thank you. With respect to the good minister
and the governors,
I was just thinking that in the future, Mr. Deputy Speaker, kind of debate there, Larry Mall back then, the governor without a debate. Now, minister, they have a room in the NEC and cabinet to talk.
Honorable member, your point of order is out of order.
That's number one. Another point I want to raise here, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is that the good minister continues to mention about Telefomin Road funding from DSIP, which is wrong. The Telefomin Road is funded through Octady tax credit scheme, which is not the DDA money. He needs to correct that because you must appreciate it. Octady give you money. No one come to sign nothing lawyer.
Honorable member for not flying, your first point of order is out of order. The second one is in order. We have a point of order, Honorable
I just have a point of order in regards to a statement made by my good colleague, good Minister for DPM in regards to PSIP and DSIP. There are vast differences. You know, a province cannot be compared to a district. So in all provinces, standard get 10 million. Regardless of the size of the province, all districts are getting 10 million. You know, so a district is smaller than a province, obviously. So there can be, and there are instances where I can say some districts are doing very well, but some provinces are doing very well. Some provinces are not doing so great. Some districts are not doing so great. So let's not generalize. No, let's not generalize. I think that particular statement should be withdrawn rather than making generalized statements like that.
Honorable,
thank you.
Honorable Governor, thank you for the order is in order. Honorable Minister, you still have 1 minute. I think I'll allow you the 1 minute to withdraw the statement that it brings frustration on other governors.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I think we want to make sure that we work together as a team rather than blaming each other. But I'd like to withdraw the statement that I made, that the general statement that I made about the PSIP and the SIP. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, we ask him, you know, accept this law. So, thank you, Lord. So I think I'll stop here, and I think I've said what I've said. But the reality should prevail. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honorable Member for about.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker, for recognizing the left side of the House. I won't be long because everything has already been said, but I want to commend the Minister for presenting this consolidated report 2018 to 2022. If all of us look at the executive summary, with regards to some of the provinces that are performing very well, thank you and congratulations. Districts that are performing very well, thank you and congratulations. But the executive summary is the truth of the report presented to this Honorable House by the Minister. Unfortunately, Deputy Speaker, this report is damning. Of all the minimum priority activities, MPAs, which are basically essential service areas, the report has concluded unequivocally that everything has been on the decline. So that's the report that the Parliament has been told today, that in this period, 2018 to 2022, all essential services have been on the decline. Well, somebody has to be responsible for this report. Somebody has to pick this report and take remedial actions immediately. Because on the floor of this Parliament, every November during budget sessions, enormous amounts of budget has been approved on this floor of Parliament. We look forward to the FBO on Thursday when the Treasurer will present it. But I want to express my greatest concern on the overall report that the Minister has presented, telling us, all the leaders in this Honorable House and telling the entire country that during this period, all essential services have been on the decline. That's very sad. I want to discuss some areas that we really need to seriously look at as a response to this report. Firstly, I think the Honorable Governor for Oro is absolutely right. Minister, through you, Deputy Speaker, you have to relook at the organic law of 1995. You must immediately bring the amendments to this Honorable House during your tenureship, because what you have done is you have told, under your watch, you have told the country that the essential services are on the decline, depriving the millions of people around the country of health, education, safety, good governance, etc., etc. So, I plea to the Prime Minister through you, immediately work on the new organic law on provincial governments and local level governments. There is a draft already there. Don't look at another constitutional amendment. Bring this organic law. This is the organic law that is structured to bring this outcome. This organic law of 95, this is what you have presented. So we have a structural problem under the 1995 organic law. So we need an amendment. Plenty lessons, you may debate all the time, yeah? We are a legislator, please, Minister, through you, Deputy. NEC, through the leadership of the Prime Minister, immediately before the end of this year, bring this new amended organic law on provincial governments and local level governments, number one. Number two, I strongly recommend that the executive government relook at these two key implementing agencies, provincial affairs and local level government affairs, and rural implementation and monitoring. In this debate, you will see that we are debating about one topic under two different umbrellas. Minister for Public Service has just talked about the Bilum program, which the Minister for Rural Development is trying to work on it. And so I strongly suggest that we're creating too many agencies. These two agencies must merge. So there is better management and coordination of this important responsibility in this country, and that is the service of delivery of public goods and services in this country. This is the bottom line. Why we exist in this country as legislators and leaders, why we have structures, provincial, local level, departments, agencies, etc., is because we must deliver efficient and effective public goods and services. We have failed as far as this report is concerned. So I think these two agencies must merge immediately. They must merge under one ministry, one department, so that there is effective coordination of these important monitoring programs. Before NMA changed to plasma. NMA and the National Economic Fiscal Commission were working together for minimum standards of service delivery. No agency of state, in my view, up to now, has come forward with a minimum standards of service delivery on these minimum priority activities. That was a job of the National Economic Fiscal Commission. NMA existed under provincial, organic law on provincial affairs and local level governments. They never talked to each other. And so when the economy is down, what do governments do through the executive arm? They maintain minimum standards of service delivery. When there is a windfall, okay, you expand other things. You build new roads, you build new courthouses, you employ more doctors, nurses, teachers, etc. So there is a lack of minimum standards by every sector the key sector. And so when you are going to allow an agency to monitor, what are you going to monitor against? So there is a immediate and urgent need for Plasma and National Economic Fiscal Commission to get together and come forward with the minimum standards of service delivery so that we protect our people. And in my view, on the NEFC, in my view, I think the NEFC should be a separate constitutional body. It shouldn't report to the Treasurer as it is now. It should report to the Parliamentary Committee on Budgets. So when the budget is not structured right, then NEFC blocks the budget before it comes to the floor of Parliament. It develops the capability to effectively monitor. There are two issues mentioned in the summary on page 8, on the last two paragraphs, and that is, this report has said that two established organs, the Provincial Health Authority and the DDA, are causing a lot of confusion. Well, that has to be addressed. PHAs are now national function. They report to the minister. Governor has no say. Provincial Health Administrator has no say. DDA CEO is a member of the Provincial Management Team, PMT. They don't talk to each other. And so these two examples, through you, Deputy Speaker, Minister, you have to address it. This is where the organic law on provincial government, local level government amendment comes in. I am a believer in maintaining provincial governments. Provincial governments, we must make a commitment as the House, the legislature, to allow it to flourish. But when I see a report in this executive summary which speaks like this, it is absolutely clear, I quote, that without demonstrable evidence of service delivery, any transfer of additional powers and functions to provinces would be irrational and illogical. I don't accept that.
Yeah.
I don't accept that recommendation. That's blind-sighted. It doesn't make sense. Short-sighted. Too blinkered. Waigani is the cause of the problem of service delivery.
Centralized.
Power decentralization is the way to go in this country.
That's right.
Waigani is messing the country up. Ministers, you are not performing your work. Let the provincial governments, PECs, together with the DDAs at the assembly level, let us run the provinces. Let us fund them right, rather than always coming and begging through the Treasury, through the planning minister for different projects, etc., etc. I think decentralization is the way to go.
Yeah.
We have to now, there is a debate on whether we should give block grants. Let's establish our smart monitoring systems. Financial inspectors should be out there. Every province should have a provincial audit team which reports directly to the Parliamentary Accounts Committee. That's the accountability structure. Provincial Accounts Committee through the Assembly, Parliamentary Accounts Committee through the Parliament, at the district level, district finance department is allowing finance inspectors to go and look at all the books every time, every quarter, and doing the reports, etc. And through the Bilum initiative, we can report through digital reporting. I think there is an answer, Deputy Speaker. We just have to have the will to make it happen. We put it too much. Sometimes we get scared, and because of politics, we don't make the right decisions. So, Deputy Speaker, I am worried that the country has now been presented a report that has said that over these last 5 years, basic services have gone downwards. That's a worry, so I strongly recommend, Deputy Speaker, that the executive government, through the ministers responsible, pick up these pieces and come with the recommendations to the Honourable House. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Honourable Prime Minister, I'll ask the Leader of Government Business to move the motion. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I ask you of Parliament to move a motion without notice.
Slip granted. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I move that so much of the standing orders be suspended as would prevent Parliament sitting beyond 5 o'clock p.m. this day, and B, Parliament adjourning on a motion to be moved by a minister at any time.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. And those against say no. Ayes have it. Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Thank you for giving me an opportunity this late today to make a response to the Minister's good statement to Parliament presenting this report. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the report highlights a chronic deficiency we have been carrying in our country for so long. Whilst the Minister for Provincial and Local Level Government may have pointed to the deficiency in our provincial government administrations, I want to confess it is also chronic right throughout the entire public service structure. And we are not ashamed to admit these sort of deficiencies we carry. It is better admitting and fixing than not admitting these sort of things and carrying it right through our entire system of government. Mr. Deputy Speaker, this is the only third time since the last 30 years a report like this has been presented to this floor of Parliament. The Honourable Soroi Eoi is not the first provincial and local level government minister. There have been many provincial and local level government ministers up till this point in time. It is absolutely no excuse that 30 years on, and in the 50th anniversary year, approaching 50th anniversary year of our country, we accept the status quo and work as if it's business as usual. Section 119 report is not Section 114 report. Section 114 is financial report. Section 119 is administrative report, performance report. And that's for the provincial administrations. As a department, they must furnish this report every year. The national departments, through the ministries, and through the department heads, are also required to furnish this report every year to the Parliament, through the departments concerned, so that people get to see what is actually happening out there in our provinces. And so, Mr. Deputy Speaker, it is about time all of us admit these deficiencies. And I want to say this is not just the last 5 years or 6 years, as the member for About tried to amplify here. I can understand it's coming from his side of the opposite house. No government before us has admitted this deficiency. Never. He was part of government many years. Never. Last 30 years.
Honourable Prime Minister, we have a point of order.
Deputy Speaker, I think Prime Minister is going below again, too low. I'm responding to the report by his minister under his watch. That's all I'm doing. There's no politics here. It's a report, so own up.
Honorable Member for About, the Honorable Prime Minister is making a statement in response to your speech, so I'll allow him to go. The Honorable Prime Minister, before you make your speech, I would ask the Minister for Commerce, Honorable Daki. Honorable Minister, I would ask you to resume your seat at the Parliament. You are on the wrong seat.
Please.
Honorable Minister. Thank you. Honorable Prime Minister, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Deputy Speaker. So this is an indication to all of us in all structures of government, for whatever resource you receive, or for whatever task you have, there's a requirement of law for all of us to report back. Eventually all this report will come back to this House. And these are some of the restructuring and resetting our collective body of leaders must do for our country going forward. Section 119, the Administrative Performance Report. Based on this performance report, we can reappoint this provincial administrator or refuse his reappointment. Part of the appointment process, the Provincial Executive Council has a recommendation on the administrator, the incumbent administrator. Those basic fundamental facts we must get to attend to. And I want to give assurance to all provincial governors here. We will ask all departments too, likewise, to make sure all departments are reporting. In department, provincial government, just like provincial governments must report to Section 119 as Section 114, report under the organic law and provincial local level government. All national departments should be reporting by 30th of June every year, and as far as performance report is concerned, and for financial report by 31st of March every year. This gives layup to the treasurer to combine all this, and for the treasurer to then work on the final budget outcome of the last operational year. Mr. Deputy Speaker, just to close, this was deliberately brought into Parliament, and I want to assure all members of Parliament, the Department of Personnel Management, through the Public Service Ministry, has been asked to furnish all national government departments who have reports outstanding. These important reports come to the House, and this House see each department's work and each province's work. Together doing this sort of reporting and annual systematic reporting, the opposition can hold the government to account, the government report to the country what is taking place right throughout the length and breadth of our country. And I want to stress here, provincial government system reform was a cut and paste reform done in 1995. I want to ask two sides of the House, part of our work in 2025 as we arrive at our 50th, and right through our 50th year, both sides, through a bipartisan, must work to make sure we place provincial government in its right place. And tomorrow I will give a full report. The earlier question asked on how much resource we've given to all provincial government, I want to say, whilst full may not have gone to all provinces last year, all departments, there have been some money that has been transferred last year. And so, even at the level of transfer, and tomorrow I will give the full transfer details to this House. It is unfair on a government who's working in tough times, raising money, and yet one statement slanders as if no fund has gone to provinces or districts. So tomorrow we will report on how many funds has left Waigani public accounts and transferred to each provinces, each districts, recurrent, especially recurrent, so we all get to understand exactly how much has gone. But as funds come, or as you ask for more greater power, the onus is on those who are receiving power to report back on activities that have been achieved under those powers. It is not good when under 40% have reported and more than 60% have not reported. Simple reporting. Just report on what you did last year. That's all it is. The key 6 core indicators on reporting that must be reported upon. I want to ask all of us, this is not to pinpoint anyone, but for all of us, for us as government, we admit that this is a weak spot we are carrying. And all of us in the strata of government going down to the LLGs and districts and provinces and departments, we all rise up. It is incumbent all of us report on performance on any year as we all await allocations and support for the new oncoming year. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I move that this debate be adjourned to another day. It is a very important debate. I know many want to speak, and I move that we adjourn this debate to a subsequent sitting. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Leader of government business.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I move that Parliament do now adjourn until tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Honourable members, I now adjourn Parliament to tomorrow 10 o'clock a.m.